Teresita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and we're reading SaturnastraMonkey King. This is chapter 2, part 1, the Goodwill Mission. As he stared at the strange man, King wondered why he was standing there. And like Ahi, he sometimes had the urge to go to certain places. At first he thought he had come there to give Baron Pureser his comeuppance. After killing him and binding his soul, he felt like there was another mystery afoot. And in the doorway he caught the whiff of a familiar scent, and he had led him to gaze upon the noble prisoner. And King narrowed his eyes, and they changed from flaming red to cyan, and at that moment his lips mouthed Leo. And he repeated with a stronger voice, "Leo, is that you?" Leo's hands reached through the bars and started choking King. And nagging as he was, his mask dropped, and he started screeching like an animal while he clawed at Leo. And Leo dropped it quick. No.
Different Leo?
No, remember that Marduke has like a weird drunk brother Leo that nobody's seen in a while?
Oh, never mind.
Like the ruler of Aragon was like chained up in a dungeon somewhere.
Yeah, I thought you meant Leo, the Leo abandoned that story.
No.
Different Leo.
Different Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Local Leo, so they be like,
No, yeah, when you say Leo, I instantly think Leo the abandoned, not Leo.
There's lots of characters throughout all of the books. Some of the names are bound to repeat.
Okay. Different Leo. The other Leo also wears a mask.
Yeah. No, it was King who dropped his human mask.
Got it.
Because he was pretending to be human while doing stealth.
Gotcha.
Leo dropped him quickly, recognizing that he was choking a furry little nugget. And somewhat ashamed, he said, "Sorry, little ape man, your voice, it sounded identical to that accursed Ahi." "If I sound like Ahi, then maybe it is because I am his brother," said King, rubbing his throat. Chuckling, Leo then said, "Maybe I'm not so sorry for mistaking you, little man." "What do you have against my brother anyway?" asked King. "I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with him poisoning most of my brains. Ever since that accursed party, nothing has gone right for me." And the kingdom fell, and my armies dispersed, and the city slowly decaying, whined Leo. "My brother had nothing to do with the fall of the kingdom. And nor did he poison them. He just happened to be near the area when it happened."
A lot of things happen in Ahi that have repercussions, but you refuse to read Ahi because it's so long.
I'll read Ahi the last.
Okay.
Because it's the longest book of the series.
Now you hear that a lot of things happen in Ahi that you keep referencing, but we haven't read Ahi yet.
But we'll read it when we read it.
Okay.
"If anything, I am partly to blame, seeing as though I fought against Bersamin's loyalists," said King. And he had done the quote-unquote side when he said loyalists. And he added, "If it makes you feel better, the downfall of the kingdom was bound to happen sooner or later, and we simply gave it a little push towards the abyss, honoring the wishes of the late Blood Red, or the one whom you knew as Bersamin." "Liar," yelled Leo, shaking the bars. "Believe what you want, and it doesn't change your current situation and the important duty you seem to be neglecting. And the people of the city are suffering while you wallow in despair and self-loathing. So the kingdom is gone. Who cares? Crying about it is not going to change a thing. And I'm going to let you out of this cell, and I expect you to be up and about and sober by morning," said King, opening the cell. And it took some effort, but he dragged Leo towards the recently deceased Baron's bed. And he had not bothered to move the body, so he literally had Leo sleep next to a corpse. And the following morning, Leo was sober and none too pleased by his late-night companion. The maids were used to him staying there from time to time, and the family of the late Baron Pureser used to hide Leo whenever he was too vociferous, which is another word for drunk. They made it their mission to hide what had become of their illustrious leader, and while eating breakfast, Leo commented, "Would it have killed you to bury the stiff? Dead bodies are hosts of parasites and germs, and I would prefer not to touch them as much as possible," said King, frowning. "You're just like your brother," said Leo coldly. "Which one?" asked King, laughing. "Marduke, perhaps, but do not speak." "Your voice infuriates me," said Leo, raising his voice. "Why are you mad at me? And you made your bed, good sir, and it was one of your friends or lackeys who inebriated my poor brother, and all of your your other friends with poison, and it isn't my brother's fault that he didn't die of the poison, but your friends did. And your friends were like, ooh, let's mess with the weirdo, and you didn't stop them because you wanted to poke fun at the bear as well, and for your hilarity, you made a murderer. You caused much suffering, and not only did you harm my brother, but your bad judgment caused the death for your friends as well, because you were too busy playing around to notice the danger that was coming your way. I am past of that. That is why I came to help you. Leo was at a loss for words for some time, and he ate his meager meal in silence while he quietly reflected on what he considered a child said. And then he felt in his marrow that Monkey King was telling him the truth, and in the end he said, "Why do you wish to help me?" "Because it will be beneficial for you to own me, and once you have the Aragon back on his feet, we can establish a friendly trading relationship, and I must warn you, we Nagas do not use currency. As such, only goods and services will be traded," said King. Leo reached into his pocket and he brought out a coin with Bersame's profile. Tossing it out of the window, he commented, "This coin is worthless now, isn't it?" Like the coin that had the dead king's face. "It is only worth its weight in gold, and its newly formed territory is making this effort to create their own currency. And this is bad for merchants, as the conversion will be severely deregulated. And for safety purposes, I suggest you cut the middleman and trade using goods only, preferably food products. And the wet climate of Aragon provides a natural irrigation system, and I suggest you put those arable lands to good use. And on a side note, I suggest you do something about the new plumbing your council is constructing. These so-called new iron and copper mines are actually lead. So do take care to put a stop to that, lest they poison the entire city's water supply." Taking starting to head out, so like, but like they're putting lead plumbing. So yeah, lead is bad for you. Leo couldn't help but raise an eyebrow, and he was deeply impressed by King's know-how of the situation in Aragon. And it would take some time, but he resolved to put his life back together, now that he had finally reached what he considered rock bottom. And before returning to his army, King said, "Once I have been informed that you have your things in working order, I will contact you. Till then, ciao, pescado." And just like that, the Monkey King was gone. And right on cue, a storm fell on Aragon, and alas, this was nothing new. And Leo stared out of his window with a dogged expression painted on his melancholic face, and he dreaded the long, arduous task that was laid before him. And with a dogged step, he made his way towards the wine cellar, and his hand trembled as he held the promised elixir close to his famished lips, and before sweet release was his, he heard a strange whisper followed by a strong blow to the head. And trying his best to hold his coat together, he said in a gruff voice, "Damn you, imp." And his dazed eyes focused on the silhouette of King, and his frame was painted by a vibrant light blinding like the sun with a which cascaded into the murky cellar, and laughing King said, "I forgot to give you my blessings before I departed. I always give my blessings to all those who will become my endearing allies." So like he just whacked him in the head. And that's his blessing. You get a whack in the head from a magic staff. Is this how you treat your allies?" started saying Leo. "You will not wish to see how I treat my enemies. Unfortunately for you, I had the bad habit of holding grudges, and the only reason why you're alive is because you are useful to me, and until you fix the harm you have done to my family and my allies, I will not lift the blessing, for indeed it is a blessing in disguise, though for now you will curse me for the gift I had imparted upon you," said King King then looked at his wrist and then said, "I fear that I am rambling, and I will leave you to your misery." He then threw a glass flask filled with pills, and Leo still had some of the fighting reflex, and he caught the flask, and then he caught the flask before it fell on the floor. And he was still rubbing the spot where King had struck him, and the blessing had nothing to do with the strike. And from all of his siblings, he was the only one who could do magic and blessings, and magic like science had the bad habit of taking people's religions. And having faith in some sort of higher power was necessary for blessings, and in King's case, this higher power was his brother Ahi. And as the King let Leo alone for real this time, the nature of the blessing became apparent. Leo could no longer indulge in his favorite habit. At first, he was overcome by mild anxiety. Like, he's very happy, getting drunk stupid. The blessing kissing from... Like, he would drink, but he would not get drunk.
Alright.
So, drinking...
So, tequila?
Well, not like that.
The blessing of tequila.
Yeah, every time he drinks, there's to tequila, but he doesn't get drunk and he doesn't get, like, the main reason why people drink is to, like, feel happy, to be drunk stupid and feel happy. But now it's just like a drinking a soda, useless. Time from?
30 minutes.
At first he was overcome by mild anxiety and he would get jumpy at even the slightest sound. And he could not grasp objects and his hands trembled. And again he would try to pour himself a drink. However, the effect of the blessing prevented him from putting the glass or flask or bottle to his lips. And the closer it got to him, the stronger the nausea would become.
No, man, that's fucked. That's messed up.
For a couple of days, Leo was bedridden, not because of the actual sickness, rather he just did not feel like getting up. He also felt pain whenever he moved and his limbs felt stiff, even though he had not done any physical exertion as of late. And when he suffered his first seizure, he remembered the flask that the king had left him, and it made the shakiness in his hands stop and it prevented any future seizures. And the flask had the clumsy written instructions, and they were simply written in a language he could understand. He had to take one pill for the next 6 months. The pill did nothing to treat his nausea or irritability, and there were some days when he could not eat a morsel, and from time to time he would vomit a black putrid substance. And thinking he was dying, Leo made his will, and he started spending more time with his wife and the young son he had completely forgotten about. And when he was with his wife, he was crass and mean, and he would yell at his son whenever he imagined that the kid was misbehaving. And Leo never went as far as to hit the kid. However, he went way out of his way to take out his frustration specifically on the poor 4-year-old boy. And all the while he dealt with this issue, King was keeping tabs on him, and he had nothing better to do while his army made its way back to Lusitania. And in the end, King felt sorry for Leo, and he wrote a letter to Marduke explaining the situation, and Marduke always had a mischief feeling to his adopted brother Leo. And he respected Leo's wisdom as a ruler, but he despised what he had become. And Leo was prone to drunken buffooneries, and during such episodes his impeded judgment made him act in a fashion that was unbecoming of a man with such refined qualities. And for years Marduke had broken relationship with his brother because of drunken slip-ups, and he had struck his pregnant wife in front of Marduke, and Marduke would have killed Leo, but Alisa pleaded on Leo's behalf. And at least some good had come out of that crazy incident, and Leo had moderated his drinking at least while his wife and son was around. And after Marduke left, Leo never raised his hand against his wife again, though when she was not around, the memory of that incident would guilt him into drowning his shame. And after reading King's letter, Marduke insisted on having the curse be removed from Leo, and he genuinely believed it was a lost cause. And after much causing King's part, Marduke gradually yielded, and he saw his brother Leo, and he treated Leo's desperation with exercise. So that Marduke eventually went to take care of his brother, even though he hated the person he had become. He's like his non-biological brother.
Yeah, remember the one that.
Yeah.
The one that he killed his family.
Yeah, well, not his family, just like his abusive father.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember him.
The mother's alive. Remember that in first Marduke, he went to like get her soul back, and they resurrected her. And whenever he felt that Leo was swallowing despair, he sent him running or made him lift weight. And when Leo was exhausted was near exhausting, but Marduke would order him to get to work, and the rest of the time was spent with the wife and his son Marduke. And his relationship with Marduke was never fixed, and Marduke was always dour and condescending. And once Leo returned to his working routine, Marduke left. And he maintained constant relationship with his brother through letters, and this entire Leo problem kept King distracted for quite some time. And even though the army had returned to the forest, he did not start his civilization building plans till he was certain that Leo had gotten his life back in working order. Time?
9 minutes.
And as for the town of Swan, Pierre and his associates had spent those 6 months making it habitable for their kin, In order to trade with the humans, it had to be maintain a look of civilization, and many of the buildings and roads were demolished and replaced with sacks from the trees native to the forest. And the trees had a dual purpose, and many of the Nagas were still compelled to sleep in vines in spite of having a roof over their head, and others preferred to sleep in the large gardens installed by Pierre, and the homes in town were used for storage purposes. And the Nagas simply did not do well in closed areas, and others did have structured homes which resembled human habitats. And this was a facade, as the interior was hollow, and at the center there was always a garden and a fountain with running water. And the interior rooms always had large windows with plenty of light, and aside from the foliage, town was filled with animals. And the animals added to the gardens and the forest area had to be benign biology: deers, owls, sherrotains, squirrels, cats, but not dogs, foxes, otters, and capybaras and tapirs. And as for birds, Pierre went overboard and he introduced to his custom-made town birds like the umbrella cockatoo, cutthroat, finches, bardets, bee-eaters, bellhead, bellbirds, hummingbirds, blackbirds, water clanger canaries, brown-headed cowbirds, northern cardinals, and the mockingbird. And aside from being musical appearing, a few of the birds served dual purpose. They were always constantly informing the Nagas of any predatory behavior. Time, bro?
7 minutes, 40 seconds.
And since it was meant to be a merchant town, the mountains were converted to hotels and taverns for travelers, and other mountains were converted into temples. And the Nagas did not particularly adore any deity. Still, they maintained a temple for each one, and MTV performed their rituals in order to put on a farce for any visitor. The only god they showed true reverence for was Artsy, the goddess of the earth. However, taking reverence as far as adoration was a tad too much of a bother for them. They acknowledged her existence in the same way they were aware of all of the other gods and their powers and limitations. However, the Nagas did not rely, nor did they beg for their aid. Instead, they preferred to depend on one another to push through whatever obstacle lay before them. In this respect, they differed greatly from the humanoid races, and this correspondence was further nurtured by King. And he liked that the Nagas differed greatly from other intelligent beings. And the Nagas still had their vices, and they had a tacit understanding of property, and they felt no guilt over thievery or killing others. And while other species wallowed over the morality of killing, the Nagas slaughtered their enemies with grim amusement. And it was this training persistent that made non-Nagas cringe whenever they saw them in battle. And as soon as King stopped being distracted, he had to undertake a certain issue that required his attention. And the first order of business was the shooting that they bought, and depending on the level of awareness of the child, there was a ritual required to integrate them into their fold. And as things stood, the Nagas had an extremely low birth rate, and the majority of the Nagas were born males, and the gender ratio made it that there were always 20% more males than females. In other Naga clans, this skewed to over 40%. Why this occurred was a matter of much debate, and however, King's archers showed similar patterns among the ancestors of the Nagas, and even among humans the ratio is skewed to 101 males for 100 females. And this difference was highly noticeable among the human population thanks in part to the wars, and there was an overabundance of human females. Birth-wise, human baby girls have a higher survival rate than males, and even when their mothers are malnourished and eager for something that resembles a family, some of the Naga males from the army started adopting female orphans, and usually most of the children born were females, and the youngest ones would undergo a magic ritual to make them genetically similar to the Naga tribes or their parents, and they could mate and everything and form families should they so desire. And the children who were considered to be sentient were given a choice: stay human or become one of them. And even those who lived as humans for a long time eventually overwent the ritual and became as the Nagas. Time?
4 minutes, 30 seconds.
Aside from the problems of the sex ratio, the Nagas became infertile as soon as they turned 40. And for these descendants of the monkeys, the infertility occurred between the ages of 16 and 26. And even with increased lifespan and prolonged infancy periods, the fertility patterns of the Naga ancestors continued to be dominant. And the only most feasible way to show up their numbers was by integrating the Nagas' megalomaniac cousins into their fold with the hopes of solving this problem once and for all. like by integrating humans into them. So like they gotta have humans around them whether they want to or not, cause of like infertility issues. King that night was preparing the ingredients for the ritual, and this involved creating an astral cloak made of living tissue. And the tissue samples have been grafted from donations offered by the Naga tribe in search of children. And the key piece was attached to the head of the cloth, and King deliberately sewed it by hand using naturally golden silk. And while he sewed, he saw the chanted words of magic, and each piece was built like a baby-sized cocoon. And the size was also lined with sticky green sap, and it took King a month to complete each item of clothing. And the main ritual took place in the center of the peninsula, and at its center there was a gaping green lake whose bottom could not be seen. And there were no fishes inside the lake, and the Nagas were always prudent enough not to swim in it or drink from its water. And other animals which were foolhardy enough to try little the size of the banks dead. Only King had the ability to enter the lake, and since he was his twin, he had a natural immunity to poisons. And before entering the lake, the Nagas assembled in ceremony would howl or screech as their ancestor had done, and the forest was soon filled with pandemonium, and soon the lake emitted a red hue at the bottom, and the surface of the lake seemed to pulsate slowly with more power. Time?
2 minutes 30 seconds.
Child by child, King would walk to the center of the lake carrying each in hand, and before dipping the infant wrapped in a strange fur, he would intone a magical chant while uttering the words Amintas Agretis, and when the glow reached its apex, King would dip the child underwater and hold him there for about a minute, and the cloth would solidify into a cocoon, and after a fortnight, an infant Naga would hatch into the world. And this ritual could only be performed at noon when the Titan moon was full and the sky had to be perfectly clear, and 40 canaries had to sing in the nearby vicinity as well. And once the baptism of the forest was concluded, King said to his companion, "It is time to start civilization building." Time, bro?
2 minutes.
Alright, let's just leave it here. Bye bye and God bless.